In today's video, I'm sharing 5 tips that will help make sure your supercar dream does not turn into a supercar nightmare. These 5 tips will help you to prepare for the financial responsibility that comes with owning a super beast, a monster like the one that sits behind me. So let's get into it. Tip number 1, proper planning prevents poor performance. That could not be more true in the case of owning your own supercar. Purchasing a $100,000 to $150,000 car is not an endeavor that you should just take lightly. It's not something that you should just show up to the dealership and say, I'm here to get that car, and go with it. I think it should be very well planned out. If you plan on getting a 2024 C8 ZO6, then I think you should start planning for it in 2021. What does planning mean? It means getting the money right, starting to save money. How much money? I think it's a good idea to save up as much money as you possibly can. For this C8 ZO6 behind me, I saved up $50,000. It was specifically just for the C8 ZO6. Now, I did save that amount because I had in mind that I was going to put 20% down. Well, things changed. I got to keep the down payment, so I decided to say, hey, let's use the down payment toward the first 12 months of owning the car. So instead of me concerning myself with paying for the car, the payments, those first 12 months, I already have the money saved. I just allocate the dollars when the time comes every month. That way I can focus on enjoying the car, making a YouTube channel, building that channel around the car without having to be so focused on the financial part that comes with it, because I've already taken care of that part. Having the extra money saved will allow for you to do the things that you want to do to the car. Like, for example, I wanted to do a full body PPF and ceramic coating. Well, I didn't have to go into my business income. I didn't have to break into any of my other income streams because I already had the money saved. Saving money is the key. I would suggest saving at least 20% of the cost of the car and the first 6 months of car payments. Tip number 2, get your credit right. And no, it's not just about the credit score, but that is a really good place to start. I think it's a good idea to have at least a 750 credit score. And to go along with that good credit score, you want to have some different types of credit on your report. For example, if you have a mortgage and that mortgage is paid off, that's going to look really good if you're trying to get a car like this. If you have a car that you financed before and that car was $100,000 or close to $100,000, that will look really good, because sometimes you have banks, if you're trying to get a $150,000 car and you've never financed a $100,000 car, they may not approve that. Also, you want to have some credit cards that you've paid off, that you have that debt really, really low. And be sure to keep your debt to income ratio very low, because the more room you have, the better position you're going to be in to own a car like this. Tip number 3, all loans are not created equal. The bank you use could make a big difference in the amount you pay. I have an 830 credit score. My credit has been established over 20 years. I've had all different types of credit on my report. Mortgages paid off, credit cards, very low debt to income ratio. I contacted 2 different banks, Woodside Credit Union and USAA, and I got 2 different offers. Woodside Credit Union offered to do the loan on the car. The loan amount is $145,000. Woodside wanted 40% down, so I would have to put $60,000 down on the car. They would do the loan at 9.9% or either 9%, and they would do that loan over 144 months. So I called USAA. USAA said they would do the loan. I didn't have to put any money down. They would do the entire $145,000. I ended up putting down the taxes, which was about $5,000, at 84 months at 6.5%. I chose USAA. In my situation, what I wanted to do was preserve my cash. If I don't have to put any money down, that's more favorable to me. Tip number 4, the dealership that you choose could impact the amount that you pay. I started off with Hendrick Chevrolet in Hoover, Alabama. The day that the ZO6 dropped, I was there with my $5,000 deposit to get on the list, and I was informed on that day that I would have to pay an additional $20,000 over MSRP. That changed. I got another salesperson, and it went to $15,000. That's what it ultimately settled out at. So I went to Southtown Chevrolet, and I got the car at $10,000 over MSRP, saving myself $5,000. So depending on the dealership that you work with will determine how much you end up paying. It could be $40,000 or $50,000 over MSRP. So make sure you choose wisely. Tip number 5, don't forget the options still have to be paid for. It's easy to get in the candy store and kind of lose your mind with all of the options, and you're gonna make it look like this and make it look like that. Remember, it's still a ZO6. Do what you want, get everything that you want, but just remember the options got to be paid for. Have a great day, have a great rest of your week. See you at the top, because the bottom is way, way too crowded.